Hey, so you want to start a cooking channel, or at least you're thinking about it, or maybe your friends are telling you, hey, you need to have a YouTube cooking channel. Or maybe you're just a person that loves food and you have some really good recipes and you want to share them with everybody so they can enjoy the same recipes too. Well, that's all good, but what does it take to start a yucking? See, it's part of recording, messing up and then going back and editing and all that stuff. But for this video, I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to record it and throw it out there to the world for all those food lovers and people that love to cook and chefs and stuff like that. So I forgot what I was going to say for a second there. Yeah, so starting a cooking channel, there's a lot of moving parts to it. And if you're thinking about starting a cooking channel, then here are just a few things. So, part one, the idea of starting a cooking channel. It's exciting. It's like, hey, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. Well, it's a little bit different because cooking is fun in most cases because, hey, if you love to cook, you're in your own element. You know, for me, I throw on some music and I put on my headphones and I jam out and I cook. But when I'm recording, it's a whole different ball game because there are a lot of things, depending on the level you want to be at in cooking or shooting your videos, there's a lot of things that move along the way, a lot of moving parts. Some people just have a camera, and in this case, I'm using my good old phone camera just because it's easy and I'm just going to sit here and talk. But I do have my other cameras back here with the monitors, you know, the ones that has the big long lens and all that good stuff. This baby right here, and I have another one over there. Some people just turn on their phone camera and they just shoot it, and it's not really great angles, but you get the idea of it. And it's a good recipe because at the end of the day, it's all about what's being cooked, right? But then you have those ones that actually take the time and shoot at the cool angles and everything like that. That is something that I like to do. And I take it to heart because to me, cooking is an art. It's fun, it's tasty, it's beautiful, and it's just something that I love to do. Each person has their own level of cooking and level of recording, and a lot of it falls on the budget too. Now, for people out there that are watching this and you say, I want to start a cooking channel, but I don't have an expensive camera, don't worry about it. Here's a known fact. You can take, let's say, a video on making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? You can shoot that video with a high-end camera, and another person can take that video and shoot it with just a basic phone camera or any camera that's cheaper. And guess what? That video that is shot in lower quality could get more views than the one that's on the expensive camera. I don't understand it, but hey, that's how it is. I've seen a lot of videos that pretty much outdo other videos where a lot of work is put into the recording. Now, with a cooking channel, I will tell you, if you're in it for the money or fast money, you're going to be disappointed because it takes a while to build up to that point to where you can get monetized and you get the 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 hours of watch time, which means you have to rack up people watching your videos for 4,000 hours. That's a lot. But YouTube has made some changes, and YouTube has come out with something called the YouTube Shorts, to where you can make short 1-minute videos. And those videos do rack up quite a few views. And it actually helps you rack up your time that you need to get monetized. But you have to get the 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 hours of watch time. So if you're looking to make quick money on doing cooking videos, just be very patient. Don't give up. Okay? Now for me, I have 3 cooking channels. I have the No Menu Cooking channel, I have the Sandwich King channel, and I have the Yamology Everything Smoked. Now you might say, Jay, why did you do that? Why do you have 3 different channels? Well, because I found out that the niche, or the niche, however you pronounce it, the niche for cooking is very, very picky. And subscribers and viewers can be very, very picky. And sometimes they'll watch a video and they won't subscribe. So for me, I had to pick certain things. Like I love sandwiches, I love general cooking, and I love barbecuing and smoking meats. So I found that when I do certain videos per channel, they'll get more views. So for an example, if I take, let's say, a how to make a brisket, how to smoke a brisket. If I take that video and I put it on my Sandwich King video, it won't get as many views. If I take that same video and I put it on my No Menu Cooking channel, it'll get some views. But if I take it and I put it on my Yamology Smoked Everything, it will get views. So it's just one of those things. And it also depends on the algorithm of YouTube and all that stuff. And I won't bore you with that, because if you're not used to talking on the tech side of tags and algorithms and stuff, then you'll be lost in the sauce. You get that? Lost in the sauce. Yeah, so there's a lot of moving parts, like I said. First, you have to figure out what type of cooking you want to do. You have to figure out your budget. Like I said, it can be expensive. If you're the person that's just going to cook with, basic cookware and stuff like that, then that's fine. But if you want to go to a different level of cooking, then you're going to have to spend some money on your cookware, because it does make a difference, believe it or not. That $50 saucepan does make a difference when you compare it to the $10, $20 saucepan. It does. Same thing with knives and stuff like this. Like for me, I have my basic knives, in my kitchen drawers. And then I have these. I have the ones that actually cost more money, and it's totally up to you. But the people in the cooking industry, in the cooking game, so to speak, believe it or not, they do pay attention to what you're using when you're cooking. And I love my Japanese knives. I love my American knives. I love my global kitchen knives. I love all of these. I love all the stuff. And if you're going to get into the cooking game, you will have to do some research and some studying if you want to be taken serious. Now, there are the home cooks, and a lot of people do love the home cooking thing. I'm going to show you how to make Southern mac and cheese. I'm going to show you how to make creme brulee. That's not a basic cooking thing. But the mac and cheese, the collard greens, the homemade Southern biscuits, how to get your chicken crunchy, all that stuff, those are a lot of the home cooking things. And there are a lot of people out there that do watch those videos. But for me, I always like to take it to the next level. I always like to test and try out new things. And with that comes learning. And for me, some of the key essential books that I have is this right here, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, The Food Lab by Kenji. And then there's other books that I have. Knives that chefs love. Because you're going to want to learn about that stuff depending on the level that you want to take your channel to. Now, there's a difference. Do you want to take it as just a passion for cooking, or do you want to take it to the next level to where you're actually making money off of your cooking videos and you want to do it for a living? That would be nice, right? It'd be awesome. Luckily for me, I have 2 of my channels monetized already, so I am getting some money off of those channels, and I'm trying to move all my channels along to take it to the next level, because there are the Joshua Weissmans out there, there is the Babish out there, Babish Culinary, sorry Babish or Babish. I used to always say Babish, but I think it's Babish. You know, there are those channels out there that are actually heavy hitters in the YouTube cooking world, you know, heavy hitters. And hopefully one day I can take it to that level. Now, why are those guys' videos so outstanding and amazing and the qualities? Well, it's because they have a team. They have people that shoot the video. They have people that do the editing. And then pretty much when it's all said and done, oh, and they also have people in the background that know how to cook certain dishes that are telling them how to cook the dishes as well. Not hating on them, by no means at all. But us little guys in the cooking world on YouTube, we kind of like to acknowledge the fact that, hey, us little guys, we're doing it all on our own. So for me, example, I record my videos, I edit them, I do my voiceovers, or I talk in the videos. And I don't have a lot of money for cameras and stuff like that. Like this camera right here, this baby. Yeah, I'm talking to you. This one, I love. Oh, my coffee cup out of the way. I love the way this camera shoots. If you ever watch my videos, you'll see some of the ones that are more, I call it intimate, but it's not like, you know, sexy type thing. But it's in more detail in the shot and the nice lighting. And, you know, you can tell that I put in a whole lot of effort to shoot those videos. This camera is perfect for it. And it has a port, a plug-in for a microphone, but for some reason, the sound doesn't come out as crystal clear. And speaking of cost for cameras, I bought this camera at, what is the name of that place? Well, it's pretty much a pawn shop. I bought it at a pawn shop, I think for like almost $200, and it came with the case, and it came with 2 different lenses. And then for this lens, the long lens that I have on it, I paid, I think, $50, and it's perfect. And then I have another camera. Let me get it. Let me move this out of the way for you too. All right, so I have this camera right here, and I love this camera, and I love this tripod. This camera has the flip up screen, so I can actually see myself when I'm recording. Yeah. I don't have to like worry about, am I in the frame or am I out of the frame? And for this camera, I paid almost $300 for it because it was brand new, you know? And then there's the tripod things you have to think about. And you have to think about the angles that you're going to be shooting at. Each camera has its own pros and cons. For the big camera, it's perfect for if I'm going to be stationary and I'm shooting it direct, you know, in front of the camera. My smaller camera, the one I just showed you, is perfect for if I need to sit it up on something, or with this tripod I have, it does perfect overhead, so I can switch things up on it and it hangs directly over the food, so I'm shooting down. But with that camera, the smaller one, it doesn't have a port for me to put a microphone in. It has a built-in microphone. So there's the pros and cons of how you want to record. And it does take a lot of money. And believe me, if I had the money, I would probably go out and get one of those cameras that does the really great autofocus, and it has a really good setup for a microphone. You know, I would do that. So for me, it's time consuming because I have to record audio separate from the recording and then time it and match it all up if I'm going to be using one of these right here, little microphones, or I do a voiceover. Can't win it all, right? But it is expensive if you're trying to take it to the next level. Then you're looking at products that you have to buy. KitchenAid mixers, which is what I use, the books, my pots. These pots you see behind me are all Italian. They're Silga, S-I-L-G-A Technica. They're not cheap. I also have my Le Creuset. I also have All Clad. And so it can be expensive depending on what level you want to go out. But it is an investment. So just remember that. When you buy cookware that is costly, just look at it as an investment, and it's something that you're going to have forever, and you're going to pass it on to your kids or your loved ones or something like that. That's what I'm going to do. My daughter loves cooking. She's 10 years old. So when I'm out of the game, my daughter's going to inherit my cast irons, my all-clad, my Le Creuset, my Silga. She's going to inherit all that. My knives, my books, all of that. So it is an investment. Hopefully she continues to love cooking, and when she gets to the right age, maybe I'll let her start her own cooking channel as well. But just keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to what you're going to cook, this is very, very important. The time of day that you record the video most likely will not match the time when it's the time to eat it. So let's say if I'm making a roast, like today, I have to do a roast video. By the time that roast is done, hopefully it'll be dinner time or right at dinner time when I get to pull it and serve it for dinner. The reason why I'm saying this part is because lighting. We need to have good lighting when we're recording. You can't shoot in a dark room, right? Luckily for me, I have a big kitchen window, and the light for most of the day, it shoots through that window. So I get to have natural lighting, and I have my cameras in front of, the lighting, and then everything else is lit. But here's another thing. The lights that I have in my kitchen, they're like the little round lights that go up in the ceiling all over the kitchen. So I'm using the natural light bulbs for that. Not the yellow ones or anything like that. I'm using the natural light. So even at nighttime, it gets pretty bright in the kitchen. So things to consider is when you're shooting the cooking videos, you have to make sure that you can afford to spend that money on whatever it is you're cooking. Now, here's another thing. If you're cooking a long dish, like I made a video on making collard greens with ham hocks. And for the technique and the method that I use for making the collard greens, for them to come out nice and tender, it takes a long time. So if I start the video in the evening, there's no way I'm going to have that video finished that night. So what do? Do you keep the pot on warm until the next morning when you can finish recording it? Do you put it in the refrigerator and warm it up and finish the video? It's just a lot of things to think about. Now, when cooking, you do have to take a chance. And I'm telling you, you will take time to shoot a video, and you will swear that that video is going to be the one that racks up a whole bunch of views and everything. And then you put it out there to the world, and guess what? It's crickets. Nobody is watching that video, or at least a lot of people aren't watching that video. Then you take one of your most basic recipes, and it blows up like crazy. Example, let's say I took a video and I made, I made a spaghetti sauce from scratch, took all the time to do the angles and all that stuff. That video did okay. But then guess what? I took a video whereas I did your leftover ham bone from Thanksgiving, when you have the ham and the bone is left over and it's that nice smoky flavored bone. I did a video with that to whereas what to do with it when it's just the bone. You make a soup, ham bone soup, or beans and ham or something like that. That video, to this day, the algorithm that YouTube has for that, it loves it. That video is always getting recommended. Now, recommended. Okay, so when you decide to start shooting videos for recording, the other moving pieces are understanding how YouTube works, understanding tags, analytics, understanding how to look at the analytics, understanding when's the best time to post your video, how to find out where your viewers are coming from, if your videos are being recommended by YouTube or if it's an outside source that's recommending it, if it's being searched by people on YouTube. There's a lot of moving parts to this. But the one thing I will say, if this is something that you're very serious about doing, then stick to it. Take the time to research, take the time to study, take the time to learn, because it does help out, because you don't want to sound like a total idiot when you're doing your videos. And in some videos you don't have to talk. There are a lot of videos out there that people are not talking, and the videos are being loved by the YouTube algorithm. They're not talking, it's just captioning. So if you're a person that doesn't like to be on camera, don't want to have your face all up on YouTube, then just shoot it with just the food in it. Caption it. If you're not a great speaker, if you don't talk a lot, or anything like that, just shoot it and then just put the captions in. Speaking of captions, how are you going to put the captions in on a video? How are you going to edit your video? There's quite a few softwares out there for video editing. And for me, I like to use Filmora 9. And that's Filmora and the number 9. I love using it. I pay my subscription. I think I paid like almost $90 in its 1-year subscription. They do have different packages. But I love using that software because it has a lot of tools in it. And it is not hard to understand. For me, I say it's not hard to understand because my background is software development. So for me, I'm a tech head when it comes to software and hardware and stuff like that. But it's pretty simple to use. What the titles and everything say in the software is exactly what it does. Fast forward, rewind, stop, pause, enhance color, timeline, cut, clip, paste, all that stuff. It's a pretty easy software to use. So with that editing part, it's part of the game. You shoot the video, but then what? You can record the best video ever, but if you don't have a way to edit it, then could be an issue unless you're just going to just straight out record and just show everything. Because believe me, there are some times in my videos, okay, let's call this being patient. If you have family, kids in the house when you record. Okay, now the story. There are some times when I'm like, oh, okay, I am ready to sit down and record this video. Oh, I've been waiting. I've been dreaming about it in bed. I was laying in bed and I couldn't sleep because I was thinking about what I'm going to cook the next day. So you get your camera set up. You got everything going. You have it all lined up. You make sure that you can just record each segment. Bam, 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 bam. Salt, pepper, tomato paste, oregano, thyme. You have it all lined up. You're ready to go. You hit the record button, right? Next thing you know, ding dong. It's your nephew. It's your friends coming over unexpectedly, or your wife and kids don't know you're recording and they're coming through the garage talking, and you're like, you're trying to be like, I'm recording, but by then you already know you're going to have to edit that part out. And then there's my dog, Jack. My dog, he's a German Shepherd. How old are you, Jack? He's like 12 years old. We've had him since he was a puppy, 4 months old. And he has this collar on, and it has, the tags on it. By law, it has to show his registration number and all that stuff, and that he has all of his shots. And it could be quiet in the house. Everything's perfect. And I hit the record button, and then all of a sudden, Jack starts scratching. And all you hear is like the bell, like clink, 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 the metal on his collar. So I take the collar off. And he has a doggy door, and so the doggy door makes the click clack sound. So if you ever are watching my videos and you hear something odd and it sounds like a little plastic flap going, it's my dog going in or out of the house. And every now and then you'll hear him barking because, hey, he's a German Shepherd and he is perimeter protective. So whenever there's people jogging by the house or walking down the hill or something, then he might let them know that he's around. But so just be prepared. Be prepared to have the patience. Be prepared to have the patience when you're recording, because there are a lot of moving pieces, like I said, and odd stuff happens. You forget to turn your ringer off on your phone, for example, and you're in the middle of recording and ring, your phone rings, or you get a notification or something like that. There's a lot of things that happen when recording, and you just have to plan them out, but you do have to be patient, and you have to have a love and a passion for what you're doing, no matter what your videos are. For me, it's cooking. For you, it could be fashion or music or whatever, but just have the patience. Do not give up if it's something that you really want to do, and just do it. Hold up, I just got a notification or something on my phone. But I did remember to put it on mute this time. Yeah. So with the cooking thing, it's really cool because you get to meet people, but just be prepared. And I'm probably going to jump back off track because it feels like I'm all over the place in this video. But at the end of the day is that if you're thinking about starting a cooking channel, just be fully aware of what you're getting into and have a mindset on the level you want to be at, your end game. If it's just something that you say, okay, I'm just going to throw up a cooking video once a week, once a month, but you do want to get monetized eventually, it's going to be hard to do. Unless you just have this crazy video that's just like racking up the views and the hours of watch time for you. Yeah, just be prepared to put out videos. Have a schedule. Me, I suck at having a schedule. I'm telling you. If you already subscribed to my channel, then you probably know I suck at when I put out videos, because it could be, I can put out a video, 3 videos in 1 day or 2 days, and then I can put out 1 video a week. It just depends on what my schedule is like. Like I said, I have 3 different channels. So, and now I'm doing these YouTube shorts. And so they're kind of addicting, but they're also pretty cool because I can take a long video and then I can just compress it down to 1 minute. And so it works out really well. Oh, garbage trucks are here today. Thursday, garbage day. And so just be prepared to have some type of schedule. There's a lot of moving parts on there, and there are other channels on here that do tell you information about starting a cooking channel, but I did notice that they do kind of leave out a few things. And hey, everybody's doesn't have the money to do this. Everybody doesn't have the kitchen set up to do this. For me, my kitchen, I have a big kitchen, but it doesn't have an island in the middle of it. But I do have a huge kitchen table, which is what this is right here. So most of the time when you see me recording, it's going to be off of this big old kitchen table. And my kitchen counter and my stove area, I have a lot of counter space, you know, but I would love to have a big kitchen and just have a big island in the middle, and then have half of it be like a thick cutting board, you know. Yeah, he's barking at the garbage man. I would love to have that thick woodcut, you know, cutting board type thing that's just big and wide, and I can just cut on it. And I don't. But who knows? Maybe I'll get a different house and it's going to have a big kitchen. I always tell my wife, the next house we get, the kitchen is going to be bigger than everything else in the house. Because I'm always in the kitchen, you know. I want a huge kitchen. I have a bunch of counter space. I have a bunch of cabinets and stuff like that, but I just need a big island in the kitchen that I can just cook on, you know. Now, I'm going to jump back to cost. If you're a person that loves cookware, I love cookware. I don't only love food, but I am a cookware fiend, a cookware fanatic, a cookware lover. I am insanely passionate about cookware. I love my knives. I love sitting in my garage. Hi, Jack. And there's this bell on his collar type thing. I love my knives. I love sitting in my garage with my whetstones and just doing my whole, you know, sharpening my knives and stuff like that. There's a lot that goes to it, but it depends on your passion of cooking, what you want to do from the very bottom of the basics, which is the cookware part, and then the seasonings and the spices and the experimentation and the knowledge, the learning of the books. It is a lot of moving pieces to it, at least for me it is. And then for some people, it might not be. It might be something as simple as how to improve your hamburger helper lasagna, or how to make your hamburger helper beef stroganoff taste better. That's a good idea. I might have to try that one, see what happens. But also when you're cooking, there is the honesty part of it. So if you're recording a dish, and this happened to me because there's been some videos I have never put up and I never will, is because you make a dish and you think in your head it's going to taste good. And then at the end of the video, the money shot, the tasting shot, where you're like, ooh, and in some cases in slow motion and the spoon is coming up. And then you talk about how good it tastes. But then you realize in the video that it doesn't taste good. Don't put that video up. Or if you know something that would make the dish taste better, like fish sauce, salt, something like that, umami powder, then you can say it in the video. Hey, this does taste good, or this does taste okay, or whatever your frame of thought is about that dish. But I would recommend that you add salt into the dish before you put it in the oven, or whatever your recommendations are to improve the dish. So honesty is a key ingredient to when you're doing your cooking videos. Now, I know this video is long and you're probably like, man, this guy can talk. But hey, I love food. I love cooking. It's a thing that I love to do. And like I said, I have 3 channels. I must be crazy, right? Insane to have 3 channels. I just burped. I'm sorry if you heard that. But I have 3 channels and I might be insane. Now, here's another thing. Okay, let me talk about each one of the channels. So my channel that I have that's called The Sandwich King, that one is pretty much, I'm revamping the channel, but it's pretty much going to be all sandwich related things or recommendations and stuff like that. And it's fun. There's so many ways to make a sandwich. I love it. So with that channel, that one is easier to shoot because you're pretty much having the camera at that one angle, shooting right up front. And I might do a face shot where I talk a little bit about it. You know, like I love how Joshua Weissman does his. He opens the cabinet, blah, 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 and it makes his head big and small and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I love the way he records. And I've even at times felt inspired, and I've done it in a few of my videos. If you come across them, you'll see me opening up the cabinet and be like, hey, So for that channel, for the Sandwich King channel, I shoot at a straight angle. Now, my channel that's called No Menu Cooking, that one I shoot in all kind of different ways. I shoot the intimate way of like where it has that nice look. If you've ever watched Alvin, I think it's Alvin Zhou, Zhou, check out his videos because he does the ones that's like 72-hour, cake or 100-hour lasagna. That's how he titles his stuff. Look at how he shoots. I love the way he shoots. I love it. And some of my videos are inspired by the way Alvin Zhou shoots his videos. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So on my channel, No Menu Cooking, I shoot in different ways. Sometimes I shoot straightforward. Sometimes I shoot overhead. Sometimes I shoot in a more intimate way. It just depends on my frame of thought and how I feel about the dish that I'm cooking, and it depends on how much time I have on my hands to shoot the video. If I'm on a timeline to where it has to be done by dinner time, or if it's an overnight cook or something like that. Now, on my other channel, Yamology Everything Smoked, that one I did a revamp to, and it's all pretty much going to be all barbecue, all smoked stuff. That one is a little bit more trickier because I have to shoot partially indoors and then I have to shoot partially outdoors depending on what type if I'm smoking or grilling it or whatnot. Another thing, when it comes to grilling, if you're thinking about starting a barbecue channel, be prepared for the pros and cons of having barbecue. Everybody doesn't have a barbecue grill. Some people go to the park. If they live in an apartment, they go to the park and they barbecue on those grills. And it's literally, most of the time, I think, charcoal. Some places use gas. Just remember, everybody doesn't have a barbecue grill, okay? I use Traeger and I use Weber kettle grill for mine. They're not cheap. So just be prepared if you're going to dive into the barbecue game. You might want to invest into a good grill, because when it comes to grills and the way they handle temperature and hot spots in the grill and all that stuff, that's a whole different conversation. I can go on about that type of stuff. But just be prepared to have a decent grill, and that has a large base of users. So in other words, Traeger has a huge fan base. A lot of people use Traegers. Weber kettle grills, a lot of people use the Weber grills. Pit Boss, a lot of people use the Pit Boss. Green Mountain grills, a lot of people use that. I used to compete using only Green Mountain grill products in barbecue competitions. So just pick a grill that somebody that has a good fan base, or a good base where people actually use that product. It's kind of like if you did a video on making, what is that thing I have? I have this little doohickey sandwich press thing. It has the long handle and you put it over fire. It makes excellent sandwiches, I'm telling you. But everybody doesn't have one. So for me, if I'm going to make, let's say, a grilled cheese sandwich using that tool, I might not get too many views. But then again, depending on how YouTube treats that video and how the algorithm goes, that video might just blow up and be the one that, just like my video, the how to use your leftover ham bone. You never know. So just be prepared to, and just think about those things as you're planning your journey of having a cooking channel. And I think I covered a pretty good amount in this video. At least I hope I did. And I could do a video that talks about once you get monetized for your channel, don't expect it to blow up. I mean, I'm saying don't expect it to, and it's not to demotivate you, but just I want you to have it in your head. But depending on the type of videos you have, like if you're one of those crazy people, that just do videos and they rack up a whole bunch of views. Like, for example, there is a YouTuber celebrity that lives down the street from me, like literally like 2 minutes down the street from me. And his name is CJ So Cool. CJ So Cool lives right down the street from me. My daughter goes to school with one of his kids, or are they married now? I don't know. Royalty is her name, but goes to school with one of Royalty's kids. And his videos, he constantly has to be turned up or turned on, because that's what gets his views and everything like that. So just be prepared when you do start your videos. You might not get a lot of views unless you're doing the turned up ones. I call them the turned up. I don't even understand what turned up really means. Hyper, like that. But just be prepared. If you're doing the type of videos that is always on the go, and people in the generation that you're attracting, that you're trying to attract, just be prepared to be that way consistently. There is no, today I don't feel like being all happy, and I'm usually happy in all my videos and all turned up and happy. No, it doesn't work like that with YouTube. People subscribe to your channel because of certain elements and characteristics that you have. So just be prepared for that. If you're a happy cook, if you're a person that's usually, and you have the camera at the angle and you're cooking the dish and you're like, child, man, these greens are going to be good. Or man, this bacon fat, and you put that on the burger. Ooh, and with some sauteed mushrooms. If you're that person in the recording, when you first initially start, then you should be prepared to always be that person when you record. Me, I'm more of a funny slash dry humor in some cases type of guy. And in some cases, I really don't talk a lot in a lot of my videos. You know, just be prepared to be that person when you're recording. So I'm going to wrap it up because I think my phone is about to die on me and I have talked quite a bit. And if you want me to talk more about other stuff in relations to having a cooking channel or any channel in general, then let me know. And make sure you check out my other channels, The Sandwich King, No Menu Cooking, and Yummology, Everything Smoked. And that's YUMMOLOGY, Everything Smoked. I'd appreciate it. I really would. All right, see you in the next video. Bye. Go cook something.